good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to a revamped NFL podcast. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are looking for it. Looking for fucking hell. I'm 2 seconds into the podcast and my mouth does not want to work. And welcome to a new episode of the NFL podcast. Today we are doing something different. We starting next week. When we do a podcast, we will just be doing a build up to that weekend's action. What we're going to be doing is using a lot more lives on Twitter and Instagram with both of us and Ellie, who is over in the States at the moment, who is waiting to talk to us as soon as we get around to her. She will be coming on the lives with us, and we will be discussing a lot more of the reactions over the weekends and the latest news as well. Rumours going around, we will discuss that as well. So prepare for that. We will send out a schedule of when we will be doing things very shortly. We're just finalising it at the moment. And it was a very busy weekend of action. Some exciting games and some very not so at all. Jesus. But so today we will be building up to this weekend's action. So before we get into anything, what I want to do is introduce you to the people that will be doing this podcast moving forward. As you are aware, Josh, who is here, is going to be the co-host. He will be taking over a lot more stuff during the podcast and talking a lot more social media as well. We've got Ellie, who is stateside, who is waiting as well over there, who will be doing the personal opinion. I will be doing the stats and the statistics of what I see, and we want you guys to get involved by telling us what you think. We want a lot more of your control. We want you lot to tell us a lot more of what you think as well. So let's get into it and let's not hang around any longer. We got 4 games, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 games, thank you. Even though I'm tired. 4 games we got for you guys to talk about. We got the Green Bay versus the Rams. We got the Ravens versus the Bills, the Browns versus the Chiefs, and the Bucs versus the Saints. Let's get into the Green Bay versus the Rams. Josh, I'm going to go to you first before we go over to Ellie and ask her anything. What is your take on it, and what are the bookies at the moment saying who are favourites to win, and what are the bookies putting the odds on?
So currently the bookies have got the Packers to win, 2-7 favourite odds. Odds on to win, obviously. A tie in normal time is 14-1 with the bookies, which could be one of those you chuck a little cheeky couple of quid on maybe. It's a return. And the Rams to win is 5-2, so not bad odds, just not great. It's obviously Wolford got injured at the start of the season, so now Goff's been at quarterback. Goff also had to have surgery 3 weeks into the season, so he's obviously come back into the side. And basically, there's not been a lot of recent form. The last 5 matches have taken over, a decade and a bit. So recent form doesn't really exist between these two sides. But over the majority of them, it's been fairly split between Rams and Green Bay. It's fairly split over all-time record as well. All-time record is 47 wins to the Rams, 46 losses with 2 draws in normal time, which means it's been fairly exciting, well, not exciting, but even watching across all time, we might get a similar sort of look this coming weekend, obviously. Be interesting to see what happens, because obviously Packers top of the NFC side, I think. NFC side. So obviously they'll come in as first seed favourites really from this side to win it and go all the way to the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see. Ellie, what is your prediction for the game coming up this weekend?
I don't think John Wolford or Jared Goff could keep up with Aaron Rodgers and especially Devontae Adams. And I don't know, the Rams not having like a set quarterback has got to have like an effect on like how the team's kind of functioning. And the Rams aren't that good to begin with. So I think that speaks for itself. And then the Packers are the Packers. Most people have the Packers like winning the Super Bowl.
Perfect. Right. Thank you ever so much, Ellie, for that, and welcome to the podcast. So let's go through some of the statistics and stats that we can see over on the season so far. So as Josh rightly said, Goff had surgery 3 weeks ago, but in the previous game that he just did, out of 90, he threw 9 out of 19 for 155 yards, 1 touchdown. The whole team rushed Rams for 164 yards and 1 touchdown. The defense was unstoppable. They were absolutely amazing that game, especially when they played Seattle twice before that as well, and lost both times. So going into that, it was very much looking like Seattle were going to come out, but they come in and sacked Russell Wilson 5 times during that game as well. The only way I can see the Rams could potentially win this, according to ESPN at this precise moment, the Packers are 65% on to win the game, according to their predictor. So that's interesting. So let's talk about Packers. Aaron Rodgers this season has thrown for 4,299 yards with 48 touchdowns and only thrown for 5 interceptions. Their main rusher, Aaron Jones, has carried for 201 times for 1,104 yards, and he's got 9 touchdowns. But we all know Davante Adams, who has been absolutely exceptional this season. He has received for 115 times for 1,374 yards and 18 touchdowns. So as you said before, the previous history is quite interesting, quite close. But if we look at it, Packers, the last game that happened, the Packers lost to the Rams 27-29. That was done on the 28th of October, if my months are right? Yeah, 2018. So it's been a couple of years for it. Right, prediction time. Here we go. New batch of predictions, new chances, new ways to win. I was spot on last time with the previous people that were listening to it because I'm so shit. At predictions. Ellie, I'm going to go to you first. Who is going to win?
Oh, prediction? I think actually, I don't think. I know the Packers are going to win, but I think the Packers are going to win, 45-23. I don't think it'll be a complete blowout, but I think it's going to be not close.
Josh, who are you going for?
I'm going to go Green Bay win.
Do you know what? I'm tempted to throw it on the Rams because they're 34.9% on to win.
Just to be different more than anything.
To be different, but I don't think they're going to win. I've tipped Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl. I've tipped them, and I've tipped it to be between them and Kansas City, who we'll get onto in a minute. So I'm going to go Packers as well and get into that. But here we go. That's the Packers versus the Rams. What I want you guys to do is down in the comments or tweet us and tell us who you got winning that game. Going to be interesting. It's going to be a good game, I think, as well. It's definitely going to be defense versus offense. It's definitely going to be, can the Rams control?
Yeah.
Rodgers, if they don't,
it could get ugly. It's one of those ones. Very ugly.
Exactly, and I'll just swallow my own spit.
Oh, lovely.
That went down the wrong hole. So here we go. Moving on. Ravens at the Bills. Josh, going to go to you. Can you give us some of the bookies and the recent history between them?
So this time I'm going to go with the odds-on favourite again, but this time it's the Ravens who are at the Bills, so away. 6-5 odds to win in this round of the playoffs. The tie after normal time is 12-1, so once again it's not horrific odds. And Buffalo Bills to win 8-11. So it's once again it could be. It's one of those ones where I'd say it's probably not going to be as close as we all think.
It's going to be a lot closer than I think. I think this is
a lot closer. Not.
Yeah, this is one of the games where I think this will be the closest game. Probably the top 2 closest games of the weekend.
I thought you were going to make a strong shout and go with the whole playoff. So I was like, ooh.
I can see this going in overtime. I could definitely see this going over. The only reason I say that is if we look at both of the quarterbacks, Josh Allen this season has thrown for 4,544 yards with 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He's absolutely blown away everyone. And if we compare that against Lamar Jackson, who against the Tennessee Titans, who could not stop him through this season for 2,757 yards with 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. But he is also the highest rusher in the team with 1,500 yards and 7. he's a QB, but a running back.
Yeah.
He's both mixed into one, and it's scary.
It's one of those you've got to keep your eyes on because he could just jet at any second. Just go.
Exactly.
Just go at any.
Talking of jet engines, we've got Stephon Diggs, who's received for 127 yards, 127 times, for 1,537 yards with 8 touchdowns. And Singletary carried Buffalo the ball for 687 yards with 2 touchdowns. Talk us through the recent history, the previous 5 games, and to be fair, it's not that much of a history. They've only played each other 9 times, but who's coming out on top of those 9 games?
Of those 9 games in total, Baltimore Ravens lead the series 6-3 wins. Mm-hmm. It's been fairly even in the history, or not very fairly even in the history. It's been fairly one-sided in the history. Once again, words not want to work today. Baltimore Ravens won 24-17 on the August 2019 month. Yeah, it's not going well for us today, is it?
It's not. My brain is not working today either.
And then 2 games before that, one in 2018 and one in 2016, the Ravens won 3 to the Bills, 47 to the Ravens, and 13 to the Ravens to 7 to the Bills. So they've not been fairly close at any point in the last 3 games. The one before that, the Bills won 23-20, but that's back in 2013. It seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
It does. It feels forever. It feels it's 7 years ago. It feels forever.
Bills, if you look at it like that, the Bills haven't been beating the Ravens for almost 7 years. No, over 7 years.
Jesus. It's interesting as well, because if we look at the points scored overall, Ravens have scored 204 points.
So Bills is 129.
Ellie, I'm going to go to you. I've got 2 questions for you. Where is this game going to be a won and loss?
For the Bills versus Ravens, I don't know. I love Josh Allen. And I think on his day, he is better than Lamar Jackson. The only reason Lamar Jackson is even like a playoff contender is because he knows how to run the ball. And I dislike Lamar Jackson so much. Also, I think the Bills have a little bit of an advantage with Stephon Diggs. I mean, it sucks that Cole Beasley is out injured. But, and I don't know, I don't think Willie Snead or Marquise Brown compare to what's his face? To Stephon Diggs. And I don't know, the stats just don't compare. And again, I think Josh Allen's better on his day. I mean, if he plays like he did against the Colts, they won't win. I mean, I guess Ravens coming out of a good victory at Tennessee, but I still think the Bills, if they play well enough, will pull it out and beat Lamar Jackson. And I hope so, because I hate Lamar Jackson fans the most.
Perfect. And what is your opinion on the game? Who do you think is going to be the key factor in the win today? Superb. Right, prediction time. Getting through these quite nicely. This is. It's going to be a nice edit for me. Woohoo! Prediction time. Who is going to win? Josh, I'm going to go to you first. Right, before we get into it, this is how close this game is. Okay. So ESPN Predictor. I'm going to use this now because this is quite fun. ESPN Predictor have predicted that Baltimore Ravens will win, but they've got them at 51% chance of winning. Buffalo at 48% chance of winning. Josh, I'm going to go to you. Who is coming out on top on this?
I'm going to go for the outsiders, Buffalo Bills, to win. Cheeky extra prediction in overtime.
Do you know what? I am agreeing in everything you just said. That's who I was going to go for. I think Josh Allen is close to being MVP. Ellie, over to you. Who have you got winning this game?
Prediction will probably be, I don't know, Bills 28, Ravens 14. I don't think it'll be insane, but I don't think it'll be anything special. I just hope the Bills win.
Doesn't it? Puts us to shame. So here we go. Let's go on to the surprise. The very much surprise. The Browns beating the Steelers on Sunday night / Monday morning. Very much shock the cards with that. Absolutely demolishing them, basically. Who have the I've seen the bookie odds. Who have the bookies got for this one?
You've got Kansas City at 1-5 odds. Fair to say they're odds-on favourites, isn't it? Fair to say it's odds-on favourites there, isn't it? So a tie in normal time is 16-1, and Browns to win at 7-2.
You
So
know, I said I'm
once again,
using
I like.
You know, I said I'm using the ESPN predictor. I feel so sorry for Browns fans
I
because
think
here we go. ESPN
it.
have predicted that Kansas City will win this, and they're 81% sure they will. Fuck! My God!
Sorry, by the way, I was going to say, over 90%, 19% chance Browns win because there's a draw percentage in there.
It's ridiculous.
Feels so bad for Browns fans because they could just get dick.
So,
They could get absolutely.
Ellie, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to go to you first. What's your opinion on the game? And where do you think this will be won and lost?
Oh, for Browns versus Kansas City. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has way more experience than Baker Mayfield, like in the playoffs, in just in general. I mean, he's been in the NFL longer. Also, considering the Browns haven't been in the playoffs in 18 years, I don't know, it kind of adds a little bit to it. But Kansas City also, they have the best tight end in the league. They got Travis Kelce, and then they've got Tyreek Hill, way a little better than Jarvis Landry, etc. So I mean, as much as I would like the Browns to win, I don't know. I think with Patrick Mahomes' experience and actually how good he is, they've got no chance.
Victo, right. I'm going to go through some stats, and then we're going to go through some of the history. I'm going to pass it over to Josh to go through some history. This game is going to be Mahomes versus Mayfield. Mahomes this year has thrown for 4,740 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I think 3 of those were against Miami. Yes, Dolphins.
Yeah.
I was about to say Miami rushed. Kansas City rushed with Clive Edwards, who is questionable at the point of when we're recording this for the game, for 803 yards and 4 touchdowns. Thomas Kelce, we all know he's the reliable Mahomes target, has received the tight end, has received 1,416 yards, and he has got 11 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, let's compare that to Baker Mayfield. Oh, dear God. Mayfield has thrown for 3,563 yards, just under 1,000 less than Mahomes.
Yeah, I forgot to point this out, but in the last game, Jackson has thrown for almost half the amount of yards that Josh Allen did. Forgot to point that one out at the time.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I saw that as well. And Mayfield has 26 touchdowns compared to Mahomes' 38. And he has 8 interceptions compared to Mahomes' 6. Nick Chubb, who is a very reliable running back, has rushed for 167 yards. 1,067 yards this season.
167 yards across the season.
Dyslexia just fucking played a part there. For 12 touchdowns, Thomas Landry has received for 840 yards for 3 touchdowns. History. Josh, going to go to you. Tell us a bit of the history between them.
So in the last 3 fixtures, which dates back once again to 2013, Kansas City Chiefs have won all 3, 37-21, 13-17, and 17-23. Across all time, Kansas City lead the series, 13 wins, 11 losses, and 2 draws, which means there's only been 26 fixtures between the 2 sides. Points scored in these games include Kansas City Chiefs have 537 points across those games to Cleveland Browns' 518. So it's a fairly close one across.
Pretty close
26.
one as well.
Fairly close. 2 draws in there. But Mark, what's your prediction for the game?
Ooh. As I said before, I'm tipping Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. I really think they are deadly, especially if they get if Cleveland let Mahomes get in a roll, this score could get interesting.
Get in that flow state of just getting the ball out.
If they get him off flow, it's going to be a tough game. But Kansas City for me.
Yeah. I think all it takes is Browns to get a touchdown early, maybe force Mahomes into an interception, and maybe ruffle some feathers, possibly. But I just don't see it happening. That's a small chance of that happening like that. So I think it's fair to say it's going to be Kansas City predictions all round by the majority of people.
Ellie, who are you going for?
Oh, my prediction for Browns versus Kansas City. I don't know. I feel like as much as I don't want it to be big score, I feel like it is going to be a big score, and I feel like it's going to be, I don't know, 35-28, 35 Kansas City Chiefs, and then 28 to the Browns. I don't think Baker Mayfield will pull it off as much as I would want him to.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Let's move on. Bucs at the Saints. This is going to be a very close game. Mahomes. No, not Mahomes. We were just talking about him. Brady versus Breeze. This could be Breeze's last ever game. It's been thought that at the end of this season he's going to retire. So this could be his last ever playoff game against Tom Brady, who, a fun little stat I saw, has never won a Super Bowl when he's played in a wild card, which he played in the wild card as well. And he's only ever won the Super Bowl when he's played. This could be wrong. This could be right. I have no idea. But it was an interesting stat I saw. Yeah, he's won 6 Super Bowls, I think it is. And they've all been when he's got a bye from the wild card. It's just amazing. So I'm going to quickly go through some stats before we get into the bookies and some statistics. So actually, before we get into the stats, Ellie, what's your opinion on the game? Who's going to come out on top, Brady or Breeze?
Tampa Bay at the Saints. I know it's like battle of the old people. I mean, Tom Brady's old, Drew Brees is old. But no, I don't know. I think Saints are gonna pull through for multiple reasons because A, they have Alvin Kamara, the best running back in the league, except for maybe Derrick Henry. But I mean, Alvin Kamara had, I don't know, can't remember who they were playing, but he had 6 rushing touchdowns. I mean, Jesus freak. But no, I believe that Drew Brees can outplay Tom Brady, especially since Tom Brady's not under Bill Belichick anymore, which is like his problem.
Statistics, Brady this season, I don't know what the fuck that was, to be honest, has thrown for, just carrying on, 4,633 yards with 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Jones, who has rushed for the Bucs for 978 yards and 7 touchdowns. Evans, who has been the very reliable wide receiver for them, has received for 1,006 yards with 13 touchdowns. Let's compare that to Drew Brees, who has been out injured for a few weeks as well. So let's take that into mind as well. But he has thrown for 2,942 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And Kamara has rushed for 932 yards for 16 touchdowns. On our Google Doc, somehow it's changed Kamara to Lamar's. It's actually meant to be Kamara again, who has the same player has also got the most receiving yards with 756 yards and 5 touchdowns. Josh, going to go to you. History, they've played each other twice already this year. This season already, with the Saints winning both, but let's go over the majority of the history. Who are the bookies got for this game? And what is apart from that, what's the history between them?
So I'll go to the history first. So obviously you said this season, Saints have won both fixtures. They've also they're leading the entire series between the two sides, 37-21. No draws across all those games. Saints also outscoring them by close to 300 points across the whole series, 1,353 to 1,094. You never know, they might hit that 300 mark this coming weekend, with the bookies saying that the Saints at 8-13 on, tie in normal time at 12-1 on, and Bucs at 11-8 on. So
it's interesting because I've got the ESPN predictor, but I don't agree with this at all. But predictions before I go into the predictor. Who have you got for this game? Josh, who are you going for? Sorry.
I think I'm going to go with the Saints to beat the Bucs in the first round.
You're going for a washout, a 3-0 season win for the Saints against the Bucs.
Okay. Form almost.
All right. Ellie, who are you going for?
Oh, my prediction for Buccaneers Saints. Oh, I don't know. I think it's be close. I think it'll be like, I don't know, maybe like 28-24 or something. I don't think it's gonna be anything too big. But I do think the Saints are gonna come out top. I feel like Drew Brees. I mean, although this is probably Drew Brees' last year, I do think that Alvin Kamara is way more of an impactful player than anybody that the Buccaneers can offer.
Perfect. The predictor here has New Orleans at 53% to win, with the Bucs at 46. For me, I'm going for the Bucs. I really do. I watched the Saints against the Browns, and there was nothing that really inspired me that the Saints would go on.
Nothing overly creative, nothing special.
Yeah, it was just a bit when I watched it. So that was a disappointment. So for me, I think this will most probably be Drew Brees' last game before he goes in retirement. Not a good way to go out against another legend in Tom Brady, but I think with the way that the Bucs, the role that the Bucs are on since beating the Detroit Lions and beating Washington quite good as well. I'm going for a Bucs win for this, and they're going to go against the Packers, which could be interesting. Going for it. But that's it. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. We know this is a lot shorter than what we've done before. We're trying something new. We're going to see how this goes down. Tell us what you guys think. Let us know if this is something that you want to listen to a little bit more. We're definitely going to divulge into histories between teams as well, moving forward as well, going into the next season. But that is more then than it is now. But this is a new way we're doing it. Thank you ever so much to Ellie, who is in the US, who will be doing it. Thank you ever so much to Josh, who is going to be co-host and has helped me out so much with all the other podcasts as well. But don't forget, we do 5 podcasts a week, either live streams or you'll be able to listen to them as well. So go and make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we release a lot of our videos, and we do a lot more on there than we do on other platforms as well. So make sure you go and check that out, and we will see you guys very, very soon. With all love and care,